let's go and boom. Let's pop it up here. Let me get rid of that. Okay, so let's talk about the pass defense for Notre Dame versus the Virginia passing offense. And this is where the rubber meets the road, Shaun. This is, we talk about the fact that the Virginia offense versus the Notre Dame defense is the side of the ball that's going to decide this game.
Yeah.
Inside that matchup, this is what is going to decide the game. Can Notre Dame match up against Virginia's pass attack? I mean, they're ranked number 2 in the country for passing yards a game at 401. I mean, that pretty much says it all. They're 5th in the country in touchdowns. They turn the ball over a little bit. 8 interceptions. That's not great. And Notre Dame is very good at taking away interceptions from the opposing offense. They're ranked 7th in the country in that regard. And they give up sacks. I mean, they've given up 23 sacks on the season. And like you said, one of our posters said that, they want to see Notre Dame get 7 to 10 sacks in this game, which might be a little excessive, but at the same time, I love where their head's at. I love the thought process behind Notre Dame just kind of pinning their ears back and going to get whoever the quarterback happens to be. So your initial thoughts on this side of things?
Virginia's really good.
Yeah.
And Brendan Armstrong is really good, which we knew, but just looking at the stats is like, yeah. And he's getting it done with an offensive line that I really don't think. So it's really, we talked about this a little bit. Is it scheme or is it really the fact that they're really good? And I don't think they have, because I think one of their top receivers was actually a quarterback last year, Ketayon Thompson. So he's a converted quarterback. He's been putting in work. Billy Kemp actually made some good plays the last time Virginia came to Notre Dame in 2019, I believe. So he's a slot guy that is very shifty. But they just don't have overwhelmed. It's not like when we faced North Carolina last year and they had those 2 NFL wide receivers and Josh Downs was a freshman.
Yeah.
No, but they spread the ball around.
Yes,
and
they
the
do.
accuracy of Armstrong is what makes everything go. His decision-making and the accuracy. To me, their best athlete is their tight end. He's a monster. I don't care if you line him up at the end of the line of scrimmage or the line, or if you split him out. He's a problem.
Right.
He's a matchup problem. And I think they're going to try to use that, especially against our shorter guys in the secondary and against our linebackers. So it's going to be very important what defense and what players Marcus Freeman deploys to try to take things away. I understand going to more of a cloud coverage or cover 3 and a cover 2 to protect your guys against North Carolina and USC. But this is a game where I actually want them to be aggressive. I really do. I want, especially early. Let's check his ribs. Let's check his ribs. Let's check and see how healthy he really is. Let's do that early. And if they catch us, because they can't stop us. You have to go into this game saying, if I'm Brian Kelly, I'm telling Marcus Freeman, they're not stopping us offensively.
Right.
We're going to score. We're putting up 50.
Exactly.
Go after this guy. Get us some turnovers, because I'm telling you now, if they get down 21-0 because of mistakes the same way they did to BYU, this game is over.
Right.
There is no comeback and tying the game up or taking the lead in the third quarter. That's not happening against Notre Dame. So early on, let's attack. Let's attack. We don't want him to get comfortable. He's accurate. If you allow him time just to sit back there and throw, he'll carve you apart because he does have multiple weapons. So let's go out, let's dictate, and let's get after these guys because they'll allow sacks. You see that right there. They rank 87 in sacks allowed. So you can get this guy, you can hurt him, you can get him on the ground, you can chase him, you can make him uncomfortable early. And once you do that and get the lead, if you want to go to more of a sit back, let's keep everything in front of us type of defense, then I'm all good with that. But and it's not based upon Kyle Hamilton being there.
Right.
Whether he's there or not, let's be aggressive and go after this guy. Hit him and make him hurt and get out early on this team and see if we can make him quit.
I think that, if we're talking about Kyle Hamilton, and of course we don't know, he's basically going to be a game time decision as well as Armstrong, which affects this side of things, no question about it.
Yeah.
You brought up the tight end for Virginia, Jelani Woods. He's second on the team in touchdowns. I mean, he's got 6 touchdowns on the season. And if Kyle Hamilton's playing, I'm not worried about Jelani Woods.
Not at all.
You know what I mean? Because that's a matchup you can pretty much just take it away.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you can just take away that option, especially up the middle and the seam and all that fun stuff. So, can they win this game without Kyle Hamilton? Yes, of course they can.
Mm-hmm.
But if he's in there, of course, I have a heck of a lot more enthusiasm about Notre Dame's chances, especially on this side of the ball, because, I mean, he just makes your defense that much better. So if they don't have him, I will echo what you just said. I think that, it is going to be a similar thought process to what the North Carolina game was. Let them get theirs underneath, rally to the football, tackle, just don't let them in the end zone, right? I mean, I don't think that that's necessarily a terrible game plan as long as you're aggressive with the front. If you're aggressive with the front, I have no problem with that being your game plan to keep everything in front of you.
Yeah.
But I want to see 4- and 5-man pressures to get Armstrong off of his base, get him out, get him not comfortable, right? And somebody in the chat said, and I think I said it earlier, ribs don't heal overnight.
No, absolutely not.
And if he's cleared to play, that's fantastic. Good for him. That's great. But he's still going to be feeling it. And I don't care how much pain med you take. Every time you throw the ball, you're going to feel those ribs. And if you just let those guys pin their ears back and he gets a couple of good shots, and if he kind of, gets loose on a scramble and he takes a good shot from a linebacker or a defensive end or something, he's going to think twice about taking off again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's going to think twice about hanging in the pocket, for a while, being that 87th in the country in sacks allowed, right? So there's a lot to this game. I think there's a lot to this side of the ball. What worries me the most about this matchup is the fact that they do spread the ball around. Notre Dame has proven they can shut down one guy, right? I mean, and make him ineffective, I should say.
Yeah.
He'll get his yards, but ineffective. They did it to Purdue. They did it to USC. They did it to North Carolina. This is a different animal because you've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. You've got 5 receivers of the football with 28 catches or more. And then Mike Hollins has 16 after him. So, they like to spread the ball around a lot. And they've got guys that are pretty good at receiving the football, right? I mean, you've got Dontavian Wicks, 42 catches total, averages 108 yards a game. Yeah. You've got Billy Kemp, averages over 60 yards a game. I'm going to butcher this name. Keaton Thompson.
Yeah.
Okay. Thompson. I can pronounce that part. He averages over 70 yards a game. And then you got 2 other guys that average over 50 yards a game. So they can throw the football. They can catch the football. They're dangerous.
And that, you know what that tells you about their quarterback? He's really good at progression. He's really good at progression. He doesn't get stuck on that first read. If it's not there immediately, he's gone to progression 2, progression 3, get the ball out of your hands. So that's what you're facing. And that's why I like being aggressive and going at them early. Going at them early and forcing him to throw the ball when he doesn't want to throw it. Because if you just give him time to go back there and sit and choose what he wants to throw the ball, and, jokingly, it's like when you have ribs, it hurts to talk, it hurts to laugh.
Twist. I mean,
anything. Early on, I'm trying to make him audible, hand signal, change protections, anything that can take breath, that can aggravate that rib. I want people up at the line of scrimmage, fake blitzing, acting like they're in the gaps. Make him think. Do everything that can cause him to be uncomfortable early on in the game and test him out. Absolutely. And then you adjust from there. Now, interesting. Do you think this would be a really good game You talk about being more effective in the 4-man front, and I talked about more of a NASCAR pass rush.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and put Jason and Myron on the inside. Put Myron back on the inside for this game because he's not going to have to worry about stopping the run as much, and have them put more pressure up the middle. More pass rush up the middle for this game, and then allow Foskey, Justin, if he's in the game, and Jordan Batalo will come around the edges and put more pressure with that front four.
Yeah. No, moving Myron around, I have no problem with that whatsoever. I think that the more you give them to prepare for, the more looks you throw at them, the better off you're going to be defensively if you're Notre Dame. Bringing a few exotic pressures, things of that nature. I think that's a great idea. And I love the fact that you want to go with the NASCAR look up front because, again, I want them to be aggressive up front and then careful in the back, especially if 14's not playing. I think that's really, really important because, I have a lot of faith in Cam Hart. My faith is growing with the other two guys that usually play, Bracey and Lewis. But this is a tough matchup, right? I mean, this is a tough matchup for Notre Dame. There's no question about it, especially with your leader on the sideline potentially. So I think you have to be very careful in the backfield, but I think you can light them up front. And if they can do that early, a lot of this, look, it's time to put some pressure on Notre Dame's offense. You know what I mean? Like, I put the game on Notre Dame's offense. Like, look, defensively, we're going to take some chances here. And, we're going to try to heat up the quarterback. We're going to try to get him on the ground. People in the chat are talking about whether Armstrong's going to play and like, oh, yeah, he'll play. He'll be ready to go. I think he's going to play. I do. I think he's going to play. If you're telling me that he's going to be 100%, no way. No way.
Yeah.
And, yes, he will be healthy enough to play, okay? But a couple good shots to the rib cage, and that can do Notre Dame a lot of favors, okay? Yeah. So I'm putting this game a little bit on Notre Dame's offense. Look, you guys got to score. You guys have to take advantage of the fact that Virginia's defense is terrible. And we're going to take some chances defensively. They might pay off. They might not pay off at times, right? Yeah. But the pressure's on the offense to score the football, and I think that's okay for this team to put it on the offense this time.
And I don't want any of that. Look, let me tell you something, man. First quarter on the first two drives last week was total bull crap. Like, the lack of focus that we saw from the Notre Dame offense against Navy was bull crap. Like, your starting right tackle can't come out first play of the game.
Right.
At home.
Right.
With a false start. What are we doing? And every time we get a positive play, here's another penalty.
Right.
And it's like that lack of focus is like, look, we're on the road, nighttime. You're going to get their best. We know how terrible this defense has been. The same defense that went to BYU, that's not going to be the same defense, at least early on, that you're going to see. You're going to get the very best of Bronco Mendenhall, strategically, and those Virginia players.
Sure.
You have to expect that.
Absolutely.
So you have to come out with a mean streak, like you said, saying, look, write 50 on the chalkboard before you come out.
Right. That's the goal.
That's the low point.
Right.
That's the least we're going to take from you all tonight is 50. If you come back in this locker room after 4 quarters and we haven't gone over 50 points, something's wrong.
Right. And you may be coming back as a loser if that's not the case, to be honest with you. I mean,
and you have to make them feel that and put that pressure on them. I understand. Yeah. And it's a game. As a coach, it might be a dangerous game, right? Because you lose a key cog in Avery Davis.
Right.
Then it means everybody's going to be doing or trying to do something extra or moving to different spots.
Right.
What hasn't changed is those 5 offensive linemen, that quarterback, and those running backs. Dominate. Flat out, dominate. I don't care who the wide receivers are. Dominate in the trenches. And everything else will fall right in line. The dominoes will fall.
Right.
And it's really as simple as that. They should have put up. They left points on the field against Navy. They left points on the field against North Carolina. Look, it's time for this offense to have a game.
Absolutely correct. And there's no reason they can't against this defense.
There's no reason they can't against this defense.
Completely agree. I challenge anybody in the chat. Go to YouTube. when you're done watching us, look up any full game for Virginia, any one of them, and watch the defense. Just fast forward to the offense, watch the defense. There is no reason that Notre Dame can't put points up against these guys. None. Zero. I mean, that's all there is to it. And, if Notre Dame doesn't put up 50, is it the end of the world? No, of course not, especially if the defense is playing well. But this offense that they're going up against has the ability to put up 50. Yeah. So you have to be careful. And if you want to put away any doubt, then you've got to put up points. Plain and simple.